Welcome to the Polytopian Interviewer, where I interview people on their experiences and views on the Polytopia Discord community. I have Poisondog with me today. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Could you start with how you first got into Polytopia?
It was like a couple years ago. One of my friends showed me the game when it was relatively small, and I just took a liking to it, and I started playing it a lot more, and now I feel like I've gotten fairly good at it, and I've recommended it to quite a few people because it's a really good and fun game to play.
Okay. And is there a specific reason why you're not in Polychamps?
I've just never gotten around to it. I've wanted to join. I just never took that step to join it.
Okay. You're pretty active in some other servers and doing your own stuff, like your YouTube channel, though.
Yeah.
How did you first start your
My
YouTube channel?
it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I just started doing Geometry Dash recordings from every play, and I would just put a couple of them up every now and then. And then slowly I started branching out once I got a decent screen recorder. And I started doing some Polytopia challenges. I did like 6 of them, and then I just kind of stopped for a while, but I've picked back up doing more regular Polytopia stuff.
I take it you look up to Goalie a lot then?
Yes, I did. He's one of my Polytuber role models.
Yeah, he's like the biggest Polytopian YouTuber out there right now,
Yeah, he is.
even though only a part of his stuff is Polytopia related.
Yeah, I guess that's what he's most known for.
Mind sharing some of your experience in Gully's chat server?
I don't frequent there that often. I come by every now and then just to chat with people. My experience is pretty much like any other fairly active server. It's just the most random stuff in general, suggesting some videos. I've never suggested any to him, but I've like
Mm,
upvoted or agreed with some suggestions that were made. And I've looked at some of his tips that he has in his Polytopia tips section, but it's kind of veered away from Polytopia tips. It's more like human benchmark sheet things, which was one of the most recent things posted in there.
okay. I haven't stayed up to date there in quite a while, so.
It's an interesting server.
Okay. So, you've only been a part of the Polytopia community for not very long. How would you say your experience is so far?
I'd say the experience is pretty good. All the people there are pretty nice. I chat with them sometimes. It's like a very welcoming and supportive community, and I've learned a lot of good strategies from some of them.
Yeah, sure, definitely. In my experience, the most strategies I learned was when I joined a Polytamps team, though I understand
Ah,
it's not for everybody, so.
yeah, I should look into that.
You're in UTOP at least. Not a lot of people are in that.
That's true. I don't really do a whole lot of stuff there, though. I just scroll through the messages, see what's happening.
Hmm. So you don't actively participate per se.
Not really.
In the Polytopia main, there's a bot called PolyElo. Is there any particular reason you don't use it?
I've actually just now saw that it existed. I've heard about it, but I just didn't know how the Elo system worked and if there was like
Hmm.
a bot that did it. But
I can explain it to you if you want.
yeah, sure, that'd be great.
So one of its main features is matchmaking. So you can run a
Mhm.
$games command, and PolyElo will tell a list of games that are going on. In main, it's usually like 1v1s or 1v2s. Sometimes there's like 1v14s of people trying to get their elo up, and you can see how many slots are filled, players in it. You can see player cards to see if they used to be like 1522 elo before the reset. Maybe you shouldn't joined because with Moonrise, everybody's elo was reset back to 1,000. So
Uh,
a lot of people are trying to get their elo back up by beating a bunch of noobs.
I mean, it's an effective way, I guess.
Yeah. It does get to a point, though, where if you're like 1,400 elo going against 1,000, you don't gain as much. Basically, it's
Ah,
just the more games you play and win, the higher your elo eventually will be, assuming you have more wins than losses.
okay. Makes sense. Yeah, thanks for explaining that to me.
Yeah, no problem. You also have a Discord server, I heard. How's it doing?
Yeah, I do. It's not a whole lot. We sometimes do some Polytopia related events, but not very often. We just do a couple events with various games. Like, we're hosting a Minecraft server that's going to start up in March, so we're doing a spawn build design contest. We have a Polytopia tournament game that's been going on since November because I'm really bad at keeping up to date with when it's my turn. Yeah, it's just got like 40 or 50 people, so everyone there knows each other pretty well, so it's just like a nice small community.
Okay. Want to move on to general questions?
Sure.
Do you have a favorite tribe?
Yes, my favorite tribe is Kiku.
Custom houses?
Yeah, I know I'm like part of Hoodrick on the Polytopia server, but they were low on members, so I kind of felt bad. So I just decided to join them.
Oh, you betrayed them.
Yeah, but I mean, Kiku already has like 100, 200 members or something, so I think they've got a good enough community.
Okay. Least favorite tribe?
My least favorite would have to be Quetzali. They're pretty much the punching bag that's there to get you 3 stars on every tribe. At least that's my experience with them.
Interesting. Because when I got 3 stars in Domination, Quetzali wasn't even out yet, and when it was, I didn't buy it yet. So I just
Oh,
kind of find it funny that I was one of the older people that played without Quetzali. Yeah, now you can just go against Quetzali in a 1v1, walk into their capital, they hit you with their shield and do almost no damage, and you take their city. It's kind of funny.
you got 3 stars legitimately.
Yeah, it's just easy enough with enough luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't be Omaji.
Ooh.
I mean, going against Omaji can sometimes be fine until more riders come out of nowhere and kill your units.
Right, and they're pretty close to knights, so if they get those, that's also pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. One time I was Quetzali because I'm going against this person. They're not that skilled, so I'll go a bit easy on them. I'll be Quetzali. And they decided
Mhm.
to spam knights at me. It didn't end
I
well for them.
Yeah, you've got defenders. Knights are not the thing to use
I
against
started
those.
with defenders.
Why on earth would they do that?
I don't know. But hey, I got a tip out of that for my server. I post tips whenever I think of them. It's just, if
Mhm.
you're going against Quetzali, it's recommended not to night spam.
Yeah, that generally doesn't end well. I guess you were right to go easy on them because they still lost after that.
Well, they spent so much of their resources on knights.
I
On
guess,
getting
yeah,
knights, the
knights are pretty
techs.
expensive.
Yeah, one time it was a free for all or something. An opponent was IMO. His eco sucked, but he got a knight, and I'm just like, oh no, I'll just space my riders away a bit and then whop them. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah,
Eh.
oh, I know, I've got really bad income. Yeah, I think a knight's the best decision to get here.
Mm-hmm. Because my
There's
opponent
definitely
has roads as well as riders. Like, he can't
Yeah,
space them out. He's going to leave them in a giant chain for me.
right, yeah, because
Sorry, I'm a human.
my opponent apparently plays like a normal mode bot would.
Hmm. So I take it your favorite unit is not Defender.
No. I mean, I like defenders, but I personally like the catapult out of all the units.
Hmm.
It's an interesting choice, but I was forced to play. I guess not forced. I had people vote, and they voted that. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I played with catapults only for 50 minutes on a game, and I kind of developed a better liking for them because I saw what they could do when you're playing against some really stupid bots that don't decide to get any knights.
Yeah, bots, it's not that big a deal if you went against humans, though.
Right, yeah, that might be a different story.
I mean, theoretically, though, the bots will eventually overwhelm you with troops.
It'll just take forever once they finally figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was popular, but there was this challenge where you can only have one city, see how long you survive, except someone decided to be Illyrian and was able to capture all the cities on the map with their one city. I thought that
Wow,
was pretty cool because of
that is
Polytar.
really cool. Oh, yeah, they can do that.
You just have to make sure that there isn't like a giant continent so the bot can eventually go, okay, I now have 8 cities. I am gonna get a ton of mind benders and knights and swordsmen because why not? Then you're
Yeah,
kinda screwed.
yeah. I don't know why the bots like putting mind benders in like threatened cities. That's just gonna let you take the city easier.
I'm not sure. All I know is the AI isn't complex enough to figure that out.
Yeah, it needs a little bit more work. Maybe they could have like an ultra crazy mode because there's a ton of people that can just do crazy mode, no sweat.
Yeah, what I'm hoping will eventually happen is Midwan makes it so an AI is able to play Polytopia and interact with it, so it can copy high ranked players for certain scenarios, and it theoretically will have a complete database of what to do. So you can have super crazy AI that's designed for tiny dry lands or something, and then
Yeah,
theoretically you can play against bots that are actually decent, but that will take time and resources. And
yeah,
Mijuan letting people interact with Polytopia with machine learning.
yeah. That might be a little bit of a stretch, especially for
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, even a simple mod of just typing up notes for your next turn would be nice.
Yeah, I'd like to see that come to fruition someday.
I mean, they didn't say they wouldn't do mods, they just said with all the changes they do, they don't want to make people's mods obsolete. So, based on that, eventually, sometime in the future, people will be able to make mods, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially since they released it on Steam like a year ago or something.
And Moonrise came out changing the whole engine it was based on.
Yeah.
So it
Hmm.
would have made like everybody's mods useless.
Yeah. Unless they had like a old version running around somewhere.
Yeah, they don't intend to bring back the old map generation anytime soon or the old platform. So
That's good because the old map
yeah.
generation was sometimes terrible.
I am on a one city island completely surrounded by water. Cool.
Yay! I was playing with three of my friends before I bought any of the special tribes, so it was just the four default tribes. And the poor person who got stuck as Amaji, and Amaji is like stuck on an island like 90% of the time, and this was on the old map generation. So the
Mm-hmm.
other three of us were just fighting on the land, and this person was like, I'm still saving up for navigation.
Yeah, that's another feature I love about Moonrise is the mirrors update. So you can have like Zabasi versus Zabasi.
Yeah. I've found it kind of fun to play against my own tribe, just see how well I do against it, because there's like different strategies that come into play when you're going against something that has the exact same bonuses as you do.
Mm-hmm. Like if it's Kiku versus Kiku, are you both going to go for custom houses? Or are one of you going to invest into a navy and manage to steal the other's cities?
Or is one of them just going to be completely incompetent and go down the Forge's path?
I have a feeling somebody did that in one of your games.
No, I just
Oh,
I just
okay.
feel like it's happened sometime before.
But Kiku has like almost no mountains.
Yeah, but I feel like someone might have done that just to see how they could do while doing that. I don't know.
Oh, there was one team game I had. One of the enemy teammates was Kiku, and it's like, they're not doing much. And then he produces a swordsman. I'm like, seriously? We got this.
Yeah, I
Kiku
mean,
swordsmen are weird.
swordsmen swordsmen aren't exactly the first branch to go down as that tribe. I'd say it's one of the later branches you'd go down
It
after
was
like
his like second or second and a half thing he went for.
that's that's so weird.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite strategy?
I mean, this is kind of like typical, but I love the water strategy. I'm a big fan of just building up a giant navy, which is probably why I like Piku so much.
Hmm. What's the most memorable game you ever played?
I'd have to say, well, it's one I'm doing right now for a challenge. It's probably why it's in my mind still, because I paused the recording a couple hours ago. I'm not allowed to research any technologies, and I got like so far into the first game, and I was like turned 40 or something, and I was playing as Amaji because I wanted riders.
Mm.
I probably should have played as Avenger because swordsman would
Hmm.
be a big bonus.
But that's an
And if
extra
economy,
challenge.
yeah, I guess if economy is not an issue, Avenger would kind of be a pretty good pick. But I got really far into the game, and it was me and Quetzale left and Aquarion, but they only had one city remaining, so they weren't
Oh.
exactly an issue. So I was about to beat Quetzale, but then they got knights, and then they just started destroying everything I had, and I'm like, I died to my least favorite tribe of all the things to be beaten by.
Ha ha. See, that's one thing the bots are good at. Spamming night.
Yeah, I've seen them just spam knights over and over. It's like, at least they have some strategy. They can do that.
Have you heard about the new diplomacy tech being developed?
I've heard that it exists in the development stage, but I haven't heard anything about it or what it's supposed to do.
So, to my current knowledge, it will let you make peace with other tribes or something along the lines of that.
Hmm.
So, people in team games are really excited about that because if you're allied with another tribe, you won't be blocking each other's units when you're trying to move around on the map. So you can't be
Oh,
blocking your teammate.
hey.
But of course, that's speculativism, even though it's going to be something like that.
Hmm. I'm excited for it because I'm excited that the bots won't just backstab me when I'm busy attacking someone else. And they say, okay, yeah, we're friends. And then 15 turns later, they're like, actually, we're not friends anymore. I'm just going to take half of your cities.
Well, don't leave them open right next to them.
I guess, yeah, I should probably just start taking the Halo thing and the stats. I should start taking that with a little bit of a grain of salt because I've just had so many bad experiences with that.
Mm, yeah, lots of people on the Reddit are like, this bot just walked right into my city. Yes, it doesn't care if it has the halo. It will backstab you.
Yeah. One thing I found funny with the peace thing is there was a bot that had one city. Well, it was like at the beginning of the game, and they left their capital city open, and they were like had the halo, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna walk right in because there's only one unit there. It's not gonna be able to kill me. And like they didn't attack me, and even though I was sieging their city, they still had the halo on after the turn had ended.
Hmm. Maybe sometimes it requires a turn cooldown to change? I don't know, I'm guessing.
Maybe.
Any questions for me?
How long have you been a part of the Polytopia community?
Roughly since it started on and off. I didn't get into the community until last year, June.
Wow, so you've been around for a long time.
Kind of.
Well, comparatively too.
Compared relative to you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in lots of servers, though. Of course, I don't participate in all of them, especially since I run my own. So,
Oh, yeah. What's your favorite tribe?
I mean, due to their sheer power, Bardur. But what I usually
Mhm.
play is more like Zabasi, because
Okay.
farms, and people can't
Yeah.
say, "You beat me because you had easy access to chopping." No, I didn't. I was Zabasi. You just weren't that great.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the economy-based game, so
Hmm.
I like Zabasi too.
Yeah, especially if you manage to get construction from a ruin and you have really good windmill spots, you can get a bunch of giants.
But yeah.
Yeah, there's a game I recently played. It was a Zabasi Mirror, and we both started on semi-big islands, and then of course it went
Mhm.
to naval warfare, and my opponent decided to just get a bunch of shield battleships. I'm like, okay, I'm going to counter that with some warrior boats and giant battleships. And then I started exploring into his area, got a ruin, gave me aquatism. So I'm like, yep, I think I got this one in the bag.
Yeah.
And then another ruin gave me construction, so that was nice.
Oh, yeah, you just got two really good technologies.
Yeah, but then a turn later he gave up, which is understandable. He was 2 turns away from losing because of the sheer amount of ships I had. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny though how some go super economy and then you take their cities and get all their economy bonus with, say, custom houses. Some people are like, well, I'm just going to spam a bunch of ships, but just regular ships. I don't have any giants, so I can't put them in any battleships. It's just
Yeah.
the versatility of the human player is quite amazing, at least in my opinion. All right, well, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for interviewing me.
I'll include a link to your channel in the description if you want.
Thank you.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye. As always, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, feel free to share it. For the text version, you can join my Discord in the description. I also have a YouTube channel where I play 1v1s and occasionally do tutorials. We'll be back next week. Bye!